Let's talk Lebanon, Israel, and Iran and all the latest. My name's Hagar, and I worked in national security in the U.S. government, including as director for Syria and Lebanon at the White House, and in counter-terrorist financing, where Hezbollah and Hamas were in my portfolio. I'm also of Lebanese descent and have been to Lebanon numerous times. So I took your questions and I merged them, and I'm going to answer them with an objective geopolitical analysis. So if you're looking for activism, keep scrolling. First, why is Israel striking Lebanon? Israel has been pursuing targeted strikes in the south of Lebanon and also in a southern suburb of Beirut called Dahieh. That suburb is between Beirut's international airport and the center of the capital, and it's a Hezbollah stronghold. And so far, these strikes appear to be focused on killing Hezbollah and also Hamas leaders and numerous Hezbollah weapons depots. Like, see that smoke coming up next to the airport? That was a surface-to-air missile launcher that was destroyed. The bottom line is that Israel is responding to Hezbollah's incessant strikes against the north of Israel, which Hezbollah started on October 8th before Israel even responded to the October 7th terrorist attack. The problem is they were poking a bear over and over and over again. In fact, they launched a total of 8,000 missiles and drones against Israel. And all summer, Israel said that if Hezbollah doesn't stop, it would escalate things further. And the US tried to solve things diplomatically, but weren't able to, and so the Netanyahu government lost patience. They want to return Israeli citizens to the north, and they don't want the north to be empty the way it is now, because that runs the risk that Hezbollah could try to compromise the border or invade, which threatens the integrity of Israeli territory. Second, what do you think about the ground invasion? I understand why Israel's doing a ground invasion, but I don't recommend it for their long-term security, and let me explain why. Israel's going in to establish a buffer zone between the south of Lebanon and north of Israel. UN Resolution 1701, which ended the last Israel-Hezbollah war in 2006, said that the land between the border up to the Litani River should be demilitarized, and only the Lebanese army and the UN are allowed to possess weapons and military equipment there. Clearly, the UN failed at that. So it looks like that's what Israel's trying to do, but it's a very provocative move, and it will only end up inciting more hatred and more terrorist groups to resist. Also, the exit strategy is unclear. Like, how far is Israel going in? How long are they going to be there for? Could Lebanese civilians return there? Not having those answers could end up undermining Israel's long-term security and could also cause internal strife within Lebanon. Third, what about Iran? Will they get more involved? What about Iran, right? All of this is because of Iran. Iran is the puppeteer, which means they're very happy to have their proxies handle this for them. So Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis in Yemen, among others, these are all Iranian puppets. But Iran prefers to sit in the background and pull the puppet strings, and the reason for that is that unlike these proxies, they are actually a state actor, so they have a lot more to lose. And the Iranian regime is not strong. They know that the majority of their people don't want them there. So the last thing they want to do is enter a direct confrontation with Israel and possibly even the United States. Our alliance provides a very strong deterrent against Iran. And so I always say, even with all this escalation you're seeing now, I still don't expect this to turn into some kind of massive World War III across the region. The scene you just saw with Iran lobbing missiles and the scene back in April were just that. They were scenes. They were provocative and dangerous scenes that could absolutely result in a significant response, but it was basically an Iranian saber-rattling exercise. 4. Can you explain what Hezbollah is? Hezbollah is a terrorist and organized criminal group that was created by Iran that many people believe was created to push back against Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon in 1982. But the real reason for their existence is so that Iran could hold a pointed gun at Israel's head and so that they can spread an extremist form of Shia Islam. Hezbollah is not the only reason for Lebanon's destruction. In fact, you might be interested to know that Palestinian terrorists and the Syrian government played a big role in that too. But I would put Hezbollah in the number 1 spot. They are the reason Lebanon has not had a president for the last 2 years, why banks around the world don't trust Lebanon's financial system anymore, why the government doesn't get anything done. They are the ones behind numerous political assassinations. They control the airport, they control the government. They are holding the whole country hostage, which is why the majority of Lebanese people, 32% of whom are Christian, 31% of whom are Sunni, according to the CIA, together despise Hezbollah. Because not only does Hezbollah use Lebanon as its playground in the name of resistance, which only ends up inviting war and violence into a country where nobody wants it, but because it is eating away at the country bit by bit, and it will continue to do so unless it's stopped. 5. How does this all end? I know it's hard to see right now because a ceasefire doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon, but all wars do come to an end, and adversaries do become partners, and history has proven that time and again. Now, the Middle East is trickier because you have extremist groups, but those groups have never been weaker. And you've also never had as many Middle Eastern countries who have normalization deals with Israel, and who really want to get things on the right path for a Palestinian state and for Israel's security. Not to mention the majority of people there, the regular citizen, just want to live peacefully. And I'm a believer that will prevail, but I will warn you that this war has shifted a little bit over the last few months. And that's because Israel does not want to return to the status quo pre-October 7th. The mission of Israel's military strategy now is to ensure that the threats posed by these terrorist groups is significantly diminished. And so I expect things to last a while longer, and you'll have peaks and you'll have valleys, and right now we're in a peak. But eventually one side will be so weak that we'll reach a solution. And in the meantime, we have to keep calling for the hostages to be released and for more humanitarian aid for innocent civilians. Okay, I talked a lot. If you have any more questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll try to get to them in another video.